Super nice to see you. It's at the end, how much was it? 3 weeks?
I think so. I think it's been a little bit longer this time.
Yeah,
Uh,
it makes a lot, huh? 3 weeks is
if it's the difference between feeling regular and then like feeling like, oh yeah, like feeling like now this feels refreshing, but it doesn't feel as regular there. It's good to see you, and it's also really interesting too because I recognize that like the impact of these conversations on me. You
mm,
know, the there are times where I'm talking, I'm like, oh yeah, that was inspired and influenced by Jeanette. You know, like, or I'm like, oh, I probably would have had a chance to unpack this in a different like capacity beforehand. So it is good to be back here, and this is our first one of these that we're not like having like a live conversation, but ultimately the same experience is available, you know,
yes,
because it's always just been us talking.
yes. Well, yes, and this time without the energies, well, always the energies of the people are always there, but I'm not, yeah, we're not live, but we are
uh,
live. We are here, and then
yes,
now,
yes, yes, yes. I like that. No, you recorded this conversation separately, and then I watched it, and I just try to like respond back in at like the opportune times. That would be, it's a lot of work. That's all that comes about. I'm like, it's possible, but it's a lot of work. Shanette, for let's like, even though this is recording, let's treat
yeah,
this as though, right, let's bring in that energy in, and let's give people a chance to understand like who we are right off the bat here, and why we do this here. Would you like to bring people in the room, or would you like me to do it?
you do it today.
All right, cool. Today I'm doing it. Hey y'all, how are you? I'm Niiamah Ashong. I'm the founder of Outliers Edge, where we co-create a world of difference. And that's something new that I haven't said in this space before. And Jeanette, we'll talk more about that in here, because things have changed since the last time we
Yes.
talked. Um, I'm joined here by Jeanette Meyer. Jeanette, tell them a little bit about yourself, and I'll take it back again from there.
Yeah. I'm Shannon Meyer. I'm founder and co-creator of the Positive Impact Movement and the Leadership Circle for the New Earth. And what is it about? Being who you are, already are, being the example you want to see in the world, being the change you want to see, because everything starts from you, no? We are the ones that are responsible for our lives, and we are individuals, and as individuals we create societies and the collective. So it really starts, everything starts with us. So it's really being who you are no matter what, believing in yourself, loving yourself, valuing yourself, respecting yourself. As you do, you will do so also with everyone else. So this is the Positive Impact Movement, because as you are who you truly are, you're positively impacting.
I love that. That's like, like Jeanette and I have very similar like missions. We have different ways of going about it. But we are both moving toward a very similar vision of the new earth, of a future, right? I call it a world of difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the benefits about us being in conversation is because we're in such alignment over here, we get the chance to see how we're both evolving towards it, what we are thinking through, as well as share some of the insights that we have, or some of the knowledge that we've gained with each of you, so that you can choose to like implement it, or augment, or play around, or reject anything that we're saying, right? But like ultimately, I think, and Jeanette, like we both believe at the core of this all here, in order for the world to get to wherever its next evolution is, it starts with the individual being able to be seen, be whole, be fully out in the world, and be who they are, and to allow and to be that in its fullness,
Mm-hmm. And
and
freedom.
then go and freedom, right? And so like what's really lovely here is like you're going to find different takes on a very similar theme. And my invitation to you as we go in this conversation is uh to let it wash over you, and to also know that if you're watching this, then like you're one of the people with us too. you know, and you might have your own take on it. And we can't wait to hear it. Let us know in the comments. Let us know, like, reach out to us. Like, we can set up conversations. We can invite you into a conversation. It's like, it's
Oh yeah,
simple,
that
it's
would be
easy.
nice.
Like yeah, that's what we would want. To have more people actually just come and join us in the conversation. But we'll start with us to keep the things rolling here. I'm going to share more about a world of difference with you here today. I
Yes,
feel, because I feel like this is new for you as
yes.
well. But I want to make sure that we're oriented in that. Hey, let's also just say, if someone has to leave the conversation early and they want to follow you somewhere, like where can they follow you? Where's the best place for them to get to follow you?
The best place is in the website pimove.org. So PIMove, it's really PIMOV.org. And there you find you can follow, join the movement with the email, or also go into the leadership circle to request to join. And yes, so that's the best place to look at what we're doing here.
Awesome.
And you, Niiamah?
Yeah. So on my head, it's Jeanette, like pimove.com, pimov.org. And on my end, it's just my name. It's not just my name, because my name is awesome and powerful, right? But go to niiamahashong.com, or for the purposes of anyone listening here, just niiamah.com will take you there too. NIIAMAH. There's lots of different experiments that we're running. There's lots of different, like, experiences that we have in place. And there's a number of different ways to really explore your way of making a world of difference and having us, like, co-create that together. So go to niiamah.com, NIIAMAH, and we'll continue on our experience from there. Okay. Awesome. All right, Jeanette. So now we've given a chance for people to know, like, what we're doing, why we're here. We meet on a regular basis to be with each other, first and foremost, and then to continue to grow with one another. And we're going to do exactly that here today.
Yes.
There's no agenda. It's just our conversation.
And no topic. It comes as we are being here and open-hearted, as we are flowing in the conversation. And we share. That's the best way of sharing. No, that's the best way to learn and co-learn, because we're here. I'm listening to Niiamah as he speaks, and then I'm reflecting back, and also the other way around. And that's always so many things to take in, no? So many things to learn and to grow. That we hope also it's very useful for anyone listening to us, because we are learning and we are getting some insights and we are sharing. So that's very nice.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because like one of the things that comes to mind is, like, there's a reason why we're choosing to share this here. And we could come out and say, here's the insights from a conversation, and just send it in a blog post. But we're sharing, like, the experience of it as well, because both of us have a way of looking at how interactions can be. What does it actually look like to be full-hearted or wholehearted, or to be all of you in a space? You know, what does it actually mean to, like, look like to live in the movement? And I love how, like, our conversations are actually a model, an example, and a model of the world that we believe is possible. And we're creating that right here with us and with you as well. And then we'll keep growing it as it goes along.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Awesome. So let me bring in something here to start us off with, and then I'll be curious where you want to take it. And what it is for me is, I need you to see me. And so I need to start with that, because I am not the person that I was when we talked a few weeks ago. In the last 11 days now, I think I've been making up time. I've been saying 10 days, 11 days. I'm just like, it's over a week, but not yet 2, you know? So like, it's been 10 days, 11 days. I don't know. But a Friday in the past, I was walking back from the gym, and I got this massive download from the universe. And the download came in, like, 2 parts. The first part was like the space for the download came when someone on my team mentioned that she wasn't, like, really connecting with my mantra, my tagline of, we champion the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity. She's like, this next era of humanity, I don't really get it. It's not like it's too big for me, you know? And I was like, okay, fine. You can just, like, let's just say the future of our world, right? We champion leaders who are shaping the future of our world. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It fits in. It's good. But I think it opened up some space, right? Where it's like, well, really what it was championing the next era of humanity. The future of our world is yes, but it's not 100%. It's like 98%, you know? But that extra 2% was all that was necessary. Cause I'm like, what it felt for me was if I really looked at if I was being really honest, if I was being really honest and looked at everything, I was saying that I championed the leaders who were shaping the next era of humanity, but I hadn't gone far enough yet. My standards weren't set there, my filters weren't set there. Like there weren't enough people like you in my world who were already in the active pursuit of what is next for humanity. Um, there are amazing people who are up to big things, you know, but the filter for are they shaping the next era of humanity at this point, or are they do they have a desire to shape the next era of humanity, or is it more like I want to help some people around me, you know? Amazing, and they do tie together, and that's like it's not like I didn't see the connection, but I hadn't set my filter high enough, and as such I wasn't calling in more of of those types of leaders. And so the download that came for me was, look, I'm not being truthful enough, I'm not being honest enough, and I'm trying to market still, and like what is the thing that I would say if I didn't have to market? I'd be like, look, all I care about is that like you go make your difference in the world. And my gift is to like help you use what makes you different to make your difference. And then that kind of blossomed on, and I realized that I need to sneeze. That's what it's happening right now. So I'm trying to see if it's gonna come or not. But like I realized through this process that I'm like, yeah, I want to work with different makers. You know, that's what this is about. It's about like leading difference in the world. And it led to this thought of like, my vision is a world of difference, you know, like that's what it is. Like a world where everyone's different, they're bringing their things together, and like difference is our starting point, but it's loved and cherished and brought into into existence and fruition and more. I also love that there's a way that we use it in language here and in English where it's an idiom. It's like, wow, that made a world of difference to me. When you smiled at me, that made a world of difference. So there's another extra benefit. I actually want a world of difference, but I like it's cool that one of the paths to get into a world of difference is to create a world of difference for someone, to do things that are in alignment with that. So that has really really like come together and taken shape for me. So I know that the end result is that I was thinking about how do I actually frame this, how do I like talk about this here, and I was like, oh, we're shaping, because I was shaping the other one. We're shaping the future of next era of humanity. I'm like, so we shaping the world of difference, and here you really showed up, Jeanette. In one of our first conversations, I think it was our very first conversation, you brought in the distinction between collaboration and co-creation. And it's been one of the most important distinctions that I've gotten in this entire year. And I realized I'm like, no, honestly, if there's going to be anything here, it's about co-creating a world of difference. And I want that right up front in like the slogan, in the tagline, in the mission itself, because that's what it is. It has both the creation element, which is important, but we're not doing this alone. We're in this place of doing it together. So for me, that's really like sunk in. And I'll end with one other thing here, and then I want to just kind of see what the questions you have for me. I'm going to sneeze off like on mute, like. But the other thing that came up was like, as this was happening, I just felt reconnected with something I hadn't been connected to in a while. Like I'm a mission-oriented person, right? But I will be honest, I don't think I was a mission-driven person for the last year. Like the mission of championing the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity was my orientation. It was the direction I was headed in. I was not like, but I wasn't being pulled into that, you know? And so I feel really good being back in alignment with that.
Yeah. Bless you.
Timing on everything. I was like, we're passing to you. There we go. There goes that season I was looking for.
No, but if you see, you align to yourself. So really the purpose is to be who you are. And as you are being who you are with changing and adapting that tagline, it's resonating with you, or you are resonating with it because it's you now. And before it was more marketing, like you were saying, more what are the best words to. It's where we always start, no? We start when we are creating projects at the beginning, and we still haven't understood the leadership part, the socially conscious leadership part that we are, no, people that are creating through their uniqueness, are co-creating with others, but are creating the world, no, the projects and the difference in the world, but by being unique. So when we align to that, then whatever we are creating that is aligned to it, it becomes our purpose, but it becomes our purpose because it's who we are, you know? So you had this, and at the beginning, what I was going to say, and I lost the line, is that, yes, we market. We believe that everything has to do with marketing, how we are going to go out and sell it to the others. When in reality, it doesn't matter. It will come, when it goes through you, it will come to the others and to whoever has to go to, because it comes from you, from the inside out, and it will have a certain vibration. It will be you, and you will attract whoever will have to be attracted. The other way is you're creating based on the outside, and then it's not you. And what you're creating is in the air.
I have a mentor who, and one of my coaches that says, the first sale is to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The first, if you have, and like, it's like, if the first sale hasn't been made, like, don't go out in the world. Like, if you yourself don't believe it, if you yourself are not sold on this, if you yourself are not in alignment with it, you know, if you yourself, I said, hey, I want to create a movement. I feel like there's a movement in this movement. And he said, look, Niiamah, let me tell you one thing I get about a movement. A movement is about moving people. Mm-hmm. And if you yourself are not moved by your movement, you ain't gonna be doing it for other people as well. Yeah. And so it felt important, and like we've it's been great having these conversations with you, because if people watch the arc of it, we've both come in and we keep evolving. New things fall in, like things that were true become less true, and we find more truth somewhere else.
Yes,
it's not that I haven't actually stopped. I'm still going to champion leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity. I can't help but do that, but there's a part that now just feels like it's gone from being trite, being stale, something I'd said, you know, I said like mission oriented, which is where I was for sure. But now I'm mission driven. You get, and that makes a difference. It's like I'm being pulled into this future. And you know, I'll share some of the things that feel different to me. Are you good with that?
Yes, it's super nice. Plus everyone is able to understand the difference from before and what you're feeling now.
Yeah, this is yeah, for me it's been really important, because I feel like what happened here is, when I look, the reality is this is not just a tagline for me. No. It is not just a mission for me. It's not even my purpose. It is my soul's calling. It is the reason that I'm here on this earth. It is like to create to create with others a world of difference. Yes. And it's like, and like that understanding just came straight through on me. And it was, and you know, there's that feels important for a couple of different reasons. One, there may be a day where, not even there may be, there will likely be a day in the next 3 to 5 years where I stop talking about a world of difference in the same way, same energy, like this, like, and the next thing, that next download that comes in, so that I can keep creating a world of difference, even if I give it a different name at that time. Yes. You know, whatever it is that is going to be necessary to infuse me to stay along this path will come to me. Yes. You know,
It's like
And
that.
it's like that, right? So like, so there's a part of this here that like I've now done this enough to recognize that like there's a mission, but also like there's like missions that I feel like are in like the smaller kind of sense, or it's like, okay, your mission is to go into this room, do this thing, and then bring this back. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can have many like smaller missions along the way,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yes.
and then accomplish that mission, and then the next mission comes in, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
So I feel a realignment, a reconnection with like the universe, you know, like we're connected once again.
Yes.
I want to say that because I'm like no part of this, no part of me was lost. It just I needed something. I needed to reconnect with what would light the fire again, as opposed to simply simmering.
Yes. You had to adapt, readjust to yourself again, to your fire.
Yeah, I had to like it's like I had to reclaim that fire, and it's
Mhm.
not, but it had to come this one for me, like, so this one for me felt like it had to be like there's like alignment. There's
Yeah.
like the universe is also involved in this alignment.
Yes.
You
Yes.
get what I'm saying? And it's
Yes.
like another dimension of the trueness of me,
Yes.
which is like, hey, don't forget, like you have your human experience, but your soul's also on this earth to do something, you know? Like whatever that is,
Yes.
we're having these experiences and we're putting things in places. Like we sent you Shanette so that you can like get back in touch with this and recognize it's not about collaborating, it's not about partnering, it's for you, it's about co-creating. Go do it,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. Yes. And we are in service to something bigger than ourselves. And as we continue evolving, as we continue learning, we are adapting and changing so that we align to the service we came to do. So it's normal that we start projects, and I say it for the other ones because you are feeling it and you know it. But I remember when I started in 2013, the first project, You Today, which in itself was many projects with the same name. So I was continuing adapting, no, so that I was feeling good. But at the beginning, I was saying, that's the name, that's my mission, that's my purpose, and that's going to be forever. No, it then one day evolved into the positive impact movement, and the positive impact movement had another in line to also serving others, which is what we do, socially conscious leaders. But it was serving myself. And through the positive impact movement in these years and the community it had, I learned so much. I learned so much, I grew so much. And now there's the impasse again of aligning and seeing where the positive impact movement is going. It might be the positive impact movement, it might be another one. There's the leadership circle, yes, but let's say I'm still navigating, no, in the being and waiting and trust and everything to know which are the next steps so that I'm again aligned and have this purpose, this peace, this mission, that it's for me to have the battery to this endless battery, because when you are in the mission, when you are in there in you have an endless battery, so you can work many hours and you are still with a lot of energy, you know, for it, because you are in service to something bigger than yourself. So in reality it's navigating and adapting and learning and evolving and growing all the time.
So you just said something I think is really important. There's two things you said. I'm gonna come back to this one, but I'm gonna say it first because I don't want to lose it. You're in service of something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna come back to that. I found when you said like, hey, in 2013, I first got it started and I was like, this is it. I know exactly what it is. I found myself laughing. And I wanted to check in on that because I was like, oh, that laugh might come off as disparaging, you know, like, oh, silliness, you know, but it's actually like I felt it myself. I recognize it myself. And it's really more like it's more like the feeling that was coming on was like, oh, like how sweet and tender we are. Like, you know, like how sweet and innocent we are. We think that like the first thing that we do is actually the actual truth of it. It's close, like it's a massive step. And so like for anyone that's watching this here right now, like I want to like take it in here. Like if two elements of it. If you're thinking that like, I don't know exactly what it is, and I'm trying, like, get started, because like do it, move with what you do know, because I promise you it will evolve.
Yes.
And the other part is like, listen to when the evolution, the adaptation is necessary. Listen, trust it, and go all in on that change.
Yeah.
Like, what do you got for them?
Yeah, and talking about that, it's this always in constant observation, but it's this exploration, experiencing, and practicing all the time, all over again, over in everything you do. So explore, so do, experience, take in, and then practice. And every time you will practice, you will again experience, and then you will open. You're daring, because you're going. You just do it, because you will learn through that, and through that you will understand what's your way, no, which is your way. It's just by not only doing, because we use a lot the doing, it's the being, and through the being you do, but you don't forget the being, because it's in the being is this observation, constant observation is the being, and how you are reacting or responding or are taking in experiences, that's the being. For them to do, so for them to explore and practice, and again going back into the being, no? And that's how
Yeah,
we
like,
go.
when you talk about that, it makes me think of a book that I read. Actually, I listened to it as an audiobook. It was a live seminar, and it was put into an audiobook. The idea of me just like releasing an audiobook of my live seminars just came to mind, by the way. But it's a book called The Hero's Two Journeys by, I think it's Christopher Vogel and Michael Haig. I might have the authors' names wrong, or like, but they're in film. And they were talking about screenplays, and they were saying, if you're writing a screenplay, we've most of us have heard about the hero's journey, and what the hero has to go through, what the hero's journey looks like. But we attempt to write things or go out in the world in alignment with the hero's journey, which is about like the hero leaves their home, they go do this thing, they meet some mentors, they get some allies, they take some tests, they learn new skills, they're challenged, and then eventually like they defeat the big bad, and then they are able to go back, right? And one of the important things that came out of this book for me, and I love going back to it, is that it says, when that's an external journey. Those are the things that you can see. That's like that's what you can see on the screen. You know, the character opened up the door and then led them into a brand new world when they walk through the closet. You know, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But for the really successful movies, there's actually two journeys happening. We see the outer journey, but the characters in there also need to go on an inner journey. So the person who they were when they started the journey cannot be the person who they were at the end. Like, and like, if it's going to lead to levels of success that like because if it's going to really be a parable or an example of the human experience, it's like, and I love thinking about it there, right? So it's like at the end of the day, it's a hero that was so like the thought that they were awesome and like put themselves first in everything, that is willing to sacrifice themselves and goes through the path and say, you know what, this is for you all, and like sacrifices themselves at like in an unexpected moment, that then they're finally able to like defeat the big bad who didn't see them actually doing that, and that's how they're able to go through, and then somehow there's like they come back in the end, and so like the story still let them live, you know. But it was about that inner transformation that allowed them to take care of that outer transformation.
Yeah.
Like if they were still selfish, they would have lost. You know, if they were still self-interest, like focused, that would have been lost. And I think that when we talk about being and doing, I think it's a really wonderful way of looking at both of those things. Where like the doing is, we're focusing on the hero's journey. We are all going through transformation. We're focused on what needs to get done. What's the project that needs to happen? What's like what needs to be accomplished, right? But we're missing. Oftentimes, we'll miss that we cannot accomplish the goal that we really want until our inner journey takes place. And for me, I say I call it an epic quest nowadays. I say an epic quest has three components. One, it should feel impossible. Two, it should be something that you cannot complete on your own. And three, you should become something more, something different as a result of having gone on this quest. It's not a quest to just go to the grocery store for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna come back the same person. and I want to call that out when you talked about the being and doing that, like that really came to mind, where it's like sometimes we're doing, yes, we're on our quest, we're going to create, we're going to accomplish, we're going to achieve, we're going to shift the world externally, but that's also going to require us to become more, to we're going to pivot, we're going to go through and realize like, oh, as much as the movement's pivoted, as much as my mission and that's changed because I've changed. And until we get that, and then when we get back in alignment with that and we recognize, oh, this is who I am now, this is what is coming out from me inside, then we're able to get over to whatever that next level is. Then we're able to take on it, whatever the next quest is, and to finally get past the things that have been holding us back. All right, so that came alive to me. That felt like it was really flowing through me, and I wanted it to bring it into space. What does this bring up for you, Shanann?
No, I love it, the way you explain it, because for people also to understand what it really is meant with the being, no? It's this inner journey. It's this really seeing that you're changing inside by realizing where you have been, where you are now, and where you're going, no? And observing all the time. And there you discover that everything changes, no? And also you discover that your capacity to change, which is, it relies only on you. It's you. So if you don't like something, or something has to be changed, change yourself, change it, and then go for it, no? So very nice.
That actually like plays out a lot, right? Because like I'll bring in this one last piece for now, and then we'll see where we go, if we're going to complete for today. But when I got this download, one of the things that I was not expecting was that it goes back to what you had said earlier. We're doing something that is larger than ourselves. I can't remember the exact words, but it was along those lines, like being a part of, contributing toward something, taking on something that's larger than ourselves. And to be honest, I think Outliers Edge had become too much about me, and it wasn't larger than me. It was large. And it maybe gotten to even just like an us,
Yeah.
but it was still, it was too formulated in the business. Okay, what's going to lead to clients? Hey, I can take on this activity. It would be amazing, but I can't see how that's going to turn back into business or into clients or into like revenue or into like, so let me do the revenue thing first. And then that's going to free me to then go and make the impact. And my goodness, it has been like just destroying me.
Yes.
It's like I'm like, eventually the revenue thing will come in so I can go do the impact thing enough, right? And it comes in like this random like drips and drabs, and it's like enough to sustain, but not enough to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize that, like, oh, and that's one of the biggest things that came in with this download. I'm like, silly Niiamah, right? Like survival and sustenance come from focusing on the business. I will always be able to do that, but really thriving comes from leveraging our impact, comes from being a part of something larger, comes from having something that allows people to come in and join you.
Yeah.
Like, that lets someone fulfill their own vision.
Mm-hmm.
And what feels different here, and I said like mission oriented versus mission driven, right? I am now being pulled into something. I'm not writing. I keep saying I'm writing a book because that's what everyone says. I'm not writing a book, Jeanette, but I am publishing a book at the end of this year.
Uh-huh.
We haven't written a word, but I'm like, 2 months sounds about right. Like I want to publish a book by the end of this year. And I'm like, but I didn't want to do that before the download.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like after the download came, I was like, oh, I'm here to serve those different makers. I've had an experience of being one of the 3% of like, it's 3% statistic in most things. I'm not supposed to be in most rooms. 3% of the population is 235 million people, right? I'm here for those 235 million people. And now that I'm trying to going back and creating a world of difference that works on a macro scale, and also to each individual. How do I have every conversation, every experience with me create a world of difference for that person? This is not a one. This is a different thing. This is not a one person at a time kind of activity. When it's time to get revenue, when it's time to work with someone individually, we'll have that conversation on an individual basis, and we'll find some ways to support each other. However, this movement, this calling within me requires me to show up with so much more. It will benefit the business. There'll be things that will tie into revenue for sure. I'm not going to pretend that it won't, right?
And it's not,
But it's good. It's good. Like things need to be funded. Things need to be funded. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh, we're gonna do. But what's happened is that like I feel creatively expansive again.
Yeah.
And it's like let's just go out there in the world and co-create a world of difference.
Yes.
And we will we will pay attention to, we will have means for revenue to come in. I'm like, oh, I want to put together a gallery for different artists who are doing things that would create a world of difference. Like, what can I do to go rent out a gallery or go put on a concert or maybe put on a festival and bring all of them into the same space? Okay, well, how do I do that? Well, maybe I can get an investor or I can get a producer, and like they'll figure out some of the logistical elements of it, but we're going to put on the world of difference jubilee.
Yes.
And it's just going to happen.
Yes.
Like all of a sudden, like as a business, I didn't really need it. As a business, it was a marketing tool. And I'm like, I really need a market. I can just go find someone else to go serve. But like going back into the mission, the mission is hungry for it. The mission is, readily receives it with open arms. And there's creative space for me to be all of me again.
Yes. And I see that. And I love that. I recognize that in you. It's another flair.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It's very nice.
It feels good. So I needed to make sure that you do. Like it's big. It's like I'm not the same Niiamah that we were talking to. Although I'm still the same me.
Yeah, it's the same you, but you're aligned, and the energy comes from within. It doesn't come from. It doesn't. It's not outside for something else. It's from within for the world. So it's completely different. It's limitless energy. It's this limitless potential that we have, no? So from there, anything can happen, and that's so nice because it's limitless.
That's it. I really do feel like I'm forging my new path. Right. I heard someone say forge a new path. I was like, yeah, that feels right. Like I'm blazing my trail and I'm forging a new path. And it's like, and it's one of those things where I'm feeling the freedom of this, where it's like, oh, no one else has done this before. So I don't need to look out. There's no right and no wrong because no one else has done it. In the future, people will come back and say, this is what, like, look at what Niiamah did. And they'll try and replicate it. I'll be like, do you know what it, like, you're not me. Like, I'll help you figure out what your path is, but like, don't try to take mine.
But that's when we start also as entrepreneur, you do the benchmarking. That's things that you're told to do. But at the end, if it's socially conscious leaders that you are creating from your uniqueness, then there's no way that you are going to do something similar to or something like others, because it's based on who you are, and that's it. So yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. There's no comparison and there's no competition.
Nothing. No.
It's just it's actually the opposite. It's like, again, going with the idea of co-creation, being so great at what you do and knowing what it is. It's like, hi, this is what I bring to the table. Yes. Hopefully it's nothing like what you bring to the table, so that now we can have a brand new thing come together. If you're doing the same thing I do, it's not as interesting. We can't really get anything new. It's just a little bit easier. Nothing new.
Yeah. And it doesn't happen because when you really are taking your potential, doing your potential, it will never be the same as someone else if everyone is doing through their power of being, no? So in reality, that's where the co-creation comes in afterwards. No? It's this uniqueness plus uniqueness plus uniqueness. We create a world of difference, like you're saying, because it's so important, the uniqueness, so important to tap into this power of being. And from there, co-create. Nice.
I love it. I love it. I love these different things that come in. So I'm at time for today. I have to take off for here. But I'm glad that I get to share it with you and share it with everyone. Yeah, I love that we're also chronicling our journey. I'm actually doing that every day. I'm spending at least 5 to 10 minutes on a live video somewhere, and I'm just talking about what are the things that are working through me, what are the things that are working, what are my challenges, and I'm just chronicling this here because I'm really in this. I'm like, this is what it's like to shape my world. I want to do this live. I want to invite anyone here as we wrap up here. I want to invite anyone that is interested in this here. I am writing a book. It will be released by the end of this year, right? And what we're doing here is we're leveraging the way that, like, the way my path works, which is I have conversations with people, and my team, they're a phenomenal team. Like they take these experiences that we create, and then they're able to translate them into written text so that anyone can come in and, like, because the experience is different. It's like there's an experience of being live with me, and then there's another way of translating that and saying, okay, if you couldn't be live there, what took place? So we're actually taking the next month here to build the content that will go in to the book. And I want to invite anyone, Shanette, I want to invite you in particular. Like you're already, we haven't sent out the invitations yet, but you're here. So I want you to know that I'm inviting you here. I'd love for you all to just come be a part of this. Some of you can come to see what is it like behind the scenes to live with someone to live with someone, to go through a process and co-create with someone who is forging their path. Like I don't know who else does it like this, but I'm doing it like this. And like that's what I do know. So if you're interested, send a comment back, send me a DM. In the future, I'll have a link for you to go to see how you can get involved, and to be a part of this book, be a part of helping us, like, co-create a world of difference. I don't want to just write it with just my ideas. I have to practice co-creating, so if you'd like to be a co-creator with us, come join us. All right. Just send me a DM or send me a message here, and then when we have a page for you to go to, I'll put that out into the world. But we have, like, you can go anywhere from working in a live workshop with me where I'm introducing ideas, we're working through tools, and we're seeing how it interacts with people in real time, to, like, saying, like, hey, what I can do is when the book comes out, I will send a message out to my friends on social, and everything in between. Everything is wanted, even if it's just like, hey, I looked at it, I think you're doing a great job, I'm going to clap from the side. I'm cheering you on. It's helpful, and in that way we can all co-create. So that's what's alive in me right now. That's what I invite people to come and be a part of if they're interested. How about you, Shanette? If people, like, what are you bringing people into?
No. For me, first of all, thank you for the invitation, and I for sure will be there. I do. And then, you were talking about any input, any comments, everything. We are already co-creating, and it's true. We are already co-creating, and anytime we are supporting and commenting or whatever with people that are positively impacting. So for the positive impact movement, you can join through your email. No, that's pimove.org. Join, and yes, and I'm here still seeing where I'm going, and I'll be sharing with you, with Niiamah, and with you all my thoughts and observations that I'm getting, and where I'm going in this service to something bigger. So thank you so much, Niiamah. Thank you.
I deeply appreciate
everyone also for watching this.
I'm going to say this again so you can hear. I deeply appreciate you. All right. Thanks for being awesome.
Thank you so much. I love you.
I'll talk to you
soon. Thank you, really.
Much love.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.